Walk into any Home Depot and stand in front of the chain's aisle. You see Husqvarna and think Swedish engineering. You see Poulan and think budget homeowner saw. You see Jonsered and think pro-logging heritage. You see McCulloch and think the legendary American brand the old-timers swore by. You see Red Max and think commercial grade. These feel like 5 rival companies fighting for your money. They are not. Every single one of those names, plus 2 more on the lawn side, is owned by one Swedish corporation, pulling in over $5 billion a year. And for years, that company has sold you the exact same saw under 6 different names, at 6 different prices, and let you believe you were choosing between competitors. By the end of this, you will know exactly how they built that illusion, and which company refused to play along. You will never look at that wall the same way again. If you have walked into a Lowe's, a Tractor Supply, or scrolled the chainsaw aisle online, you probably think you are looking at a competitive marketplace. Different companies, different engineers, different philosophies, all fighting for the same 20 feet of shelf space. That is the illusion, and it is a well-built one. You see Husqvarna and think Swedish engineering, orange housing, the brand your neighbor swears by. You see Poulan and think the budget saw you grab when you just need to clear some brush once a year. You see Jonsered and think pro-logging heritage, a serious saw for a serious cutter. You see McCulloch and think the legendary American name the old-timers ran back when logging built towns. You see Red Max and think commercial grade, the saw the landscaping crews trust. Every single one of those names is owned by the same company. The Husqvarna Group, headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden, with revenue over $5 billion a year. Husqvarna, Poulan, Poulan Pro, Jonsered, McCulloch, Red Max, plus Weed Eater, Flymo, and Gardena on the lawn care side. One company. The entire shelf. So when you walk in planning to spend Husqvarna money, but talk yourself down into a Poulan to save a couple $100, you are not switching companies. You are not even switching a product line built by a different team with different standards. You are buying a cheaper saw from the exact same boardroom that built the expensive one, marked down and repackaged to catch the customer who almost walked away. And the way this corporation built that setup, brand by brand, is one of the quietest consolidations in the history of American power equipment. To understand how one company ended up owning the entire chainsaw aisle, you have to go back to a company that did not even start as a chainsaw maker. Husqvarna began in Sweden in 1689 as a weapons foundry, building muskets for the Swedish army. That is not a typo. 330 plus years of history, and chainsaws barely register as a footnote for most of it. Over the centuries, the company made sewing machines, bicycles, motorcycles, kitchen equipment, moving from one industry to the next long before it ever cut a log. Husqvarna did not build its first chainsaw until 1959. But the empire that eventually swallowed the American chainsaw market was not built by engineering breakthroughs. It was built by acquisition. First through the Electrolux Group, and later as the spun-off Husqvarna Group, the company went on a decades-long buying spree, absorbing its competition one respected name at a time. Jonsered, the Swedish brand with genuine racing and logging heritage, absorbed. Poulan, founded by a Louisiana logger named Claude Poulan, a name that once meant something specific to American cutters, absorbed. McCulloch, the Los Angeles company, whose saws built the American logging legend in the mid-20th century, its name now stamped on budget equipment, absorbed. Red Max, the American brand name for the Japanese-engineered Zenoa saws, absorbed. Each of these companies kept its name on the housing. Each kept its loyal customer base, the guys who would only ever buy Johnsard or only ever buy McCulloch because that name meant something to them and to their fathers before them. And each one quietly became a single rung on one company's pricing ladder, positioned above or below the others to catch every kind of buyer at every price point, all funneling revenue back to the same parent in Stockholm. The competition on that shelf was never really competition. It was inventory management. Here's the part that should actually concern you. If a rival brand can be created just by taking your saw and bolting on different plastic, what does that tell you about how this corporation really thinks about the machine in your hands? Because that is exactly what the cross-reference proves. On the Chainsaw Collector forums, the kind where you need to prove you actually run a saw before they let you post, the model maps are public and they are specific. The Husqvarna 361, 365, and 372 XP share their core with the Johnsard CS2166, 2171, and 2171. Same displacement, same crankcase, same architecture under a different badge. The Husqvarna 455 Rancher, one of the most popular homeowner saws in the country, lines up directly with the Johnsard 2152. And at the top end, the Husqvarna 550 XP, 555, and 562 XP line up with the Johnsard 2252, 2253, 2258, and 2260. Same platform, same internals, engineered in the same place, on the same lines, by the same people. The only thing that diverges before the saw reaches the shelf is the color of the housing, the badge riveted to the side, and the price tag attached to it. Think about what that actually means for the buyer. A pro logger walks into a dealer and picks a Johnsard because he believes he is buying a different philosophy of saw than the homeowner reaching for the orange Husqvarna 2 feet over. He believes he is paying for heritage, for a specific engineering approach, for something the other brand does not have. He was buying the same machine. Same engine, same crankcase, same output. Just a different sticker, and in a lot of cases, a different, higher markup for the privilege of the name he trusted. This is not a coincidence, and it is not a minor overlap between two similar products. This is one company manufacturing a single saw on a single line and distributing it under multiple identities to make the market look bigger and more competitive than it actually is. The rivalry you thought you were choosing between at the dealer was never a rivalry. It was the same product wearing two different uniforms, sold to two different types of buyers who never compared notes. And it gets worse, because once a company owns every name on the shelf, it has no real reason to keep all of them alive. Watch what happened next. Poulan and Poulan Pro were once among the best-selling chainsaw names in America. The saw a whole generation of homeowners bought without a second thought. Go to the Husqvarna Group's own brand site today, and you will not find an active Poulan chainsaw lineup. The name that used to sit on millions of garage walls across the country has effectively been retired from the category that built it. RedMax still shows up here and there. You can still find the badge. But the chainsaws have quietly vanished from the lineup, leaving behind trimmers and blowers wearing a name that used to mean something specific in commercial cutting. And then there is McCulloch, the brand that powered American logging through the 1950s and 60s, the saws with genuine documented history, the name serious cutters trusted before Stihl and Husqvarna ever became household words in the United States. That name has been reduced to a badge on cheap consumer equipment, the kind sold at the lowest end of the price ladder, equipment a serious cutter today would never touch. This is the actual endgame of consolidation, and it is worth saying plainly. You do not buy up your rivals just to keep their products competing honestly with yours. You buy them to take their shelf space, harvest whatever brand loyalty is left in their name, and then let the name quietly die once the customers who trusted it have nowhere else to go. The competition you thought was protecting you, keeping prices honest and quality high, was bought out from under you and switched off one brand at a time, while the shelf kept looking just as full and just as competitive as it always had. So does that mean every name on that shelf is a corporate illusion? One parent company wearing a dozen masks? No. Because there is one company that watched this entire consolidation play out and refused to take part in it. And it is not a coincidence that it is also the best-selling chainsaw brand in the world. That company is Stihl. Founded by Andreas Stihl in Germany in 1926, Stihl has never been bought, never merged with a rival, and never gone public. To this day, more than 90 years later, the company is still privately held by the Stihl family. There is no cheaper sister brand sitting on the discount aisle wearing a different name. There is no budget Stihl and no entry-level Stihl built on the same line with different plastic, because the family that owns the name treats it as the single most valuable thing they own. And here is the decision that tells you everything about how differently they think. Stihl refuses to sell its chainsaws through Home Depot or Lowe's. You cannot walk into a big box store and buy one off a shelf at all. You can only buy a Stihl through one of more than 10,000 independent servicing dealers, the same direct-to-professional model used by the most respected tool companies in the world. That dealer has a real financial reason to stand behind the saw he sells you, because his business depends on you coming back for service, not on a single weekend impulse purchase. Stihl has been the #1 selling chainsaw brand on earth since 1971, and it earned that position by doing the exact opposite of the consolidation playbook. Echo, owned by Yamabiko of Japan, belongs in this same conversation, built on professional-grade engineering and a dealer service model instead of a race to the bottom of the big box bin. The next time you stand in front of that wall of orange and gray and green saws, remember what you now know. Those brands are not competing with each other. They are performing competition for your benefit, while the profit flows to one Swedish parent. This is the same playbook Luxottica used to convince you Ray-Ban and Oakley were rivals when one company owned both. The same strategy the beer giants used buying up craft labels. Whenever you see a wall of choices, ask who signs the checks, and never underestimate a chainsaw brand that simply was never for sale.